What's up, guys, and welcome to the 8th Gigabyte Challenge. This is going to be best of one that we have going between Sqreen Squad International and BeWater, my friend. Here on HeflaTV 1, I'm going to be one of your casters covering this. I'm Mike Loris, and I'm joined by Mr. Blackadder. What do you think about the new patch?
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. And going into 8.2, well, 6.82, it's new patch is mad, Mike. Absolutely mad.
Mad good or mad bad?
Mad good. Mad good. I mean, less Tinker, less Razor. I haven't seen a Void to save my life. The new Phantom Lancer is hella fun.
Alright, so we'll see if any of those heroes actually get picked up here. Razor, Brewmaster, Death Prophet. It seems like these teams are kind of still stuck in point A1, but you know, it's hard to just instantly jump over since the patch has only been out for like 2 days or something like that. So I expect to see some weirder picks, and getting rid of all these vanilla heroes right off the bat is a nice start because that means we just won't see them, and we'll see what these teams want to open up with. I myself haven't actually casted any games in .82 yet, so this should be fun.
It should be. Have you actually managed to play much in .82 yet?
Oh yeah, they were terrible. My teammates sucked.
After we've done with our evening of casting, I'm dragging you over to my stream and we're going to play a few rounds.
Okay. Sounds good.
But unfortunately, now I see a Void. Void into Skyrath and Mirana for BeWater, my friend. This is going to be more of a static draft, I think, maybe an 8-1 style. It's going to take maybe 2 to 3 weeks for every team to be able to adjust fully to 8.2. And from where I sit, I can understand a bit of transition time, but I would still like to see something new, something unorthodox maybe. But what options are there? What do you think we're going to see?
Well, I mean, the Faceless Void was kind of nerfed, yet the Chronosphere is still the Chronosphere, so I think Sqreen Squad are going to be looking to put as much damage as they can into that sphere. The Sqreen Mage would have been the best tool. I don't know if Shadow Shaman is still going to be that Supremo support pick, but would be a nice tool. Death Ward is also good, so Witch Doctor could also be a nice partner for the Faceless Void, so something around those lines. But yeah, I don't think Mirana got hit really hard. Sqreen Mage got slight tweaks, but really it's the Faceless Void who, as far as the heroes that are picked up right now, he was the one who got hit the most, and Sqreen Squad seemed to be okay with that. And Chronosphere is always going to be incredibly potent, but at a certain point, it's like, is it really worth your first pick?
Yeah, and that's the question. I mean, I'm not sure if it's really first pick territory anymore. It did get hit with a nerf bat, maybe not as much as, say, Lycan did, but what other options are there? They could have gone for maybe the Doom. The Brewmaster was banned out in this case. I wouldn't be averse to a Spectre either, actually.
Well, it looks like we're going to get none of that. Shadow Shaman is going to be picked up. Got tweaked a little bit. I think just a couple of his numbers. Nothing too huge. Serpent Ward's going to get like a 10-second increase in cooldown, which is annoying, but it's still workable. So, yeah, it's going to be a very .81 draft from the Sqreen Squad. And BeWater with the Sqreen Mage and Mirana, it's a pretty solid opening. It has a lot of flexibility to go pretty much in any direction. However, Mirana setup with the Sqreen Mage so far isn't really the strongest. It's possible to hit those arrows, but it is a little bit difficult.
I'll completely agree to that one. But this is one of the things I'm going to draw parallels with throughout our first games in .82. Mirana, not much physical damage. Crimson Guard.
Yeah, Crimson Guard, I mean, it's such a great item to have, but it's such an annoying item to build because you have to have a hero who is going to want to go for that. Someone like a Doom or Viper would want to, but right now, I don't know. They would have to pick up someone in order to pick that one up, and if they do, it'll be insane, but I want to see it personally.
Well, two of the heroes, one of them not being captain with the Phantom Lancer, he's a really good Crimson Guard carrier, but Spectre. The mathematics, to my knowledge of dispersion is applied beforehand. So the damage that you would take is then dealt around you, then it is reduced by said Crimson Guard damage block. So it actually works out quite well on that hero. Same, it can work on a Bristleback. I mean, any hero that could technically have gone for the Vanguard in previous patches, although Vanguard not being that good, can now go for the Crimson Guard and be a great use to the team. I mean, it's as an item only costs you 1,625 more gold, but brings you an item of equivalent power or more of a mechanism or a pipe. And against physical damage, that takes away a lot of the damage from, say, Mass Serpent Wards of a Shadow Shaman, from a Razor's Eye of the Storm because it's physical. You're getting my point here.
Yeah, it's incredibly efficient as far as extending the lifespan of the Vanguard, which was, from the beginning, a pretty cost-effective item, but it just fell off way too early. So getting that Crimson Guard upgrade on someone like an Elder Titan, perhaps, is going to be pretty nice. BeWater still are very light on the physical, so I don't know how much value that Crimson Guard is actually going to get, but if Mirana is playing in the core role, then Crimson Guard is going to be auto-shutdown on her. But Sqreen Squad, Elder Titan, yeah, it's a rather early pickup for this hero. I think even with this new patch, you probably could have waited a little bit longer to pick him up, but it's going to ensure that Sqreen Squad get a lot of damage going. He did get slightly buffed.
Only slightly. I don't think it's that major at the end of the day. I mean, one of the... you're on about the Elder Titan, yeah? With the slight buffs?
The what?
The Elder Titan with the buffs, yeah?
Yeah, he's just like a couple of scaling levels, whatever.
It was a scaling change, but the other one, this is an interesting one that I've seen a lot of back and forth between, and that's the Aghanims on him. Technically, it does make some sense on paper, but if you are that far ahead, is it worth getting? Then again, with the new scaling on comebacks, it's a hard one to call. I mean, the Aghanims upgrade makes it so it's a disarm for 6 seconds that persists through a BKB.
Yeah, it's crippling, but yet the question you have to ask is how often do Earth Splitters actually land on people that you need them to land on? Like with the Faceless Void Chronosphere setup, I would say Aghanims on Elder Titan gets a lot better, and it's probably pretty viable. But aside from that, I rarely see Earth Splitter hitting onto more than 2 heroes, and those 2 heroes are the ones that are always the slowest, usually supports, and if they can't attack, well, you're probably not going to feel it. So it's incredibly situational, but also that situationalness has just so much potential power. It's kind of like Ancient Apparitions, although a little bit less so.
I suppose I can understand that kind of logic, but I'm wondering where we're going to go after the back of this Titan pick. I mean, you've got Titan, Shadow Shaman, Void. You've got set up for the ultimate. You've got the Shadow Shaman there to bring some pushing power, and that's a Beastmaster, which is something quite unorthodox and very refreshing, actually.
Oh yeah, just played with the Beastmaster the other day, and it was pretty nice. Having that roar, like clockwork, is going to be what you're like timing your entire team around, as opposed to having the entire team revolve around Serpent Wars or Exorcism. You're going to be ganking every single time that roar is up. They don't really have any cute Boots of Travels things going on just yet, but Beastmaster, it's going to let BeWater, get those ganks off, and when you're dealing with a Faceless Void, then you really want to have a long-range disable in order to pick him off early.
And the Raw does bring that, especially with the Aghanims upgrade, which did get buffed in 0.82. In all-around honesty, I like the Beastmaster pick. It brings a lot to the table. He's a jack of all trades, but not really a master of any. He brings good vision, he can do a good amount of damage, has that primal roar, piercing BKBs, of course. It's very nice to do, but nonetheless, now we get an Invoker pick up the Sqreen Squad, and now we're seeing what they want to line up. They've got the Void combo with the ET, and then they're just going to rain down meatballs and deafening blasts into that Chronosphere as well.
Yeah, they're just going to fill the Chronosphere with all sorts of damage, and all that damage is going to be amplified, of course, by the Elder Titan Natural Order. They still are looking for one more support pick. Witch Doctor would have been the best one, although he is currently out of the pool. At a certain point, I don't even think they have to go for another hero to put in damage, since between all 3 of their cores, the Chronosphere is pretty much guaranteed to kill off someone, if not, bring out the reincarnation of the Wraith King if he's who you decide to focus. But of course, that kind of is dependent upon Sqreen Squad getting the Chronosphere off properly. BeWater right now have so much initiation power with the Arrow and with the Roar that Sqreen Squad are most likely going to be on the receiving end of most of these team fights, so Chronospheres are going to be a little bit more difficult to land.
A little bit more difficult to land, I will grant you, but I don't think it's going to be that huge a difference. I mean, they have to be careful, yes, but I still think it's quite easily doable. But where do they now go from here for their final hero to combo with the Shadow Shaman? I mean, you say the Witch Doctor was banned. Do we see a potential support Alchemist here? I suppose Anti-Apparition would work. Yeah, actually, I'm surprised AA wasn't banned out. I mean, you first pick a Void. Why didn't they ban an AA?
I guess patch stuff. I think for the first couple of weeks, if I don't understand something or if I see something kind of obvious that the other teams see, I'm just going to chalk it up to patch stuff. Like this one, the Phantom Assassin. It's just patch things.
No, this one I understand. Void no mutes since when he gets the
right.
chrono up. So if they try to bundle in on a Phantom Assassin, how are they going to kill her? She's going to dodge everything in the chrono.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, blur is still going to be pretty damn annoying, and even with the blur change of not being on the minimap, it's a pain in the ass because you can't really see where the Phantom Assassin is farming unless you're actively looking for it. That being said, Sqreen Squad, they're definitely capable of bursting down the Phantom Assassin in non-physical ways. Even if they do catch her in the Chronosphere, Invoker with Sunstrike Meteor is going to destroy that PA. But it also will give BeWater a little bit of late game contingency plan. Also has a pretty nice aura thing going with the Beastmaster and Wraith King, so PA is going to be a lot more effective just by her own because she will have those auras.
I'm completely inclined to agree with that, and now we get the Terrorblade for the last pick, and I'm surprised this wasn't banned out in all honesty. He is a very strong hero. And what kind of AoE damage do we have on the lineup of BeWater, my friend? All in all, not much. So the Terrorblade might be able to just snowball this game with sheer illusions.
Oh man, Terrorblade, this is going to be sweet. However, as much as I love seeing a new face in Dota, or a relatively new face in Dota, I honestly don't know if this is going to be a real Terrorblade game, because Terrorblade needs a little bit of space to get going. Look at the supporting cast and look at the roaming potential of BeWater. Beastmaster, Skywrath Mage, Mirana, Wraith King. There's just so many stuns and so many ways to get right on top of the Wraith King, of the Terrorblade. Make sure that he can't get his Sunder off properly and kill him off fairly quickly. If you could put some pressure early on this Terrorblade, then even though Metamorphosis is always going to be a little bit of a danger, it's not really going to be the most devastating thing in the world because his farm just simply isn't going to be there. That being said, the AoE on BeWater is kind of lacking, so it's a really delicate situation there, but hey guys, we're in the game. It's going to be Sqreen Squad versus BeWater, my friend, and let's see who's going to be playing what on the Sqreen Squad. We got Slander playing the Faceless Void, currently heading up towards top with a ton of regeneration. Cass is going to be on the mid lane Voker. We got Sqreen playing the Elder Titan, along with this guy playing the Terrorblade, and A playing the Shadow Shaman. Nice job, Sqreen Squad.
And of course, on the flip side of that coin, we have on the Beastmaster, Blue 3. Over on the Phantom Assassin, in the mid lane we've got Alu. Mid lane Phantom Assassin is going to be an interesting one to watch. Then up towards the top lane we have the tri-lane of Divine Weakness on that Skywrath Mage, Rain standing in on that Wraith King, and finally on the Mirana, of course, there is Zephy.
Alright, so we're going to get back into this game. I thought if you were going to make this lane happen with the Wraith King, Skywrath Mage, as well as the Mirana, you would have wanted to run that aggressively. All three of these heroes are perfectly capable of fighting very early on, but perhaps BeWater just wanting to do a little bit of creep pulling shenanigans with this Beastmaster. It's pretty easy to pull these Ancients now with the Beast, although on Dire side Ancients it kind of always was. I would have thought that they would have been running this top lane on BeWater aggressively instead of defensively. Even though getting farm in the Wraith King is nice, I think you could get away with a lot more.
I would completely agree with that. I expected the aggressive try as well, because how do you deal with a Terrorblade? You get in his face, kill him, stop him farming. Terrorblade has 425 base health off the top of my head. That is nothing. You could sneeze and kill the Terrorblade. If the Terrorblade can get up to that BKB, though, you got problems.
Yeah, you'll have a ton of issues. He is extremely tanky in the armor department. I believe this is the highest base armor in the game, although I'm not 100% sure on that. So killing him with physical is going to be a little bit tough, and really Beastmaster, his wild axe just got changed purely physical, so TV is going to be taking pretty much 0 damage from this Beastmaster, so if Beastmaster can't harass, he's not going to be doing jack in lane, and well, it could be a little bit of a difficult time for the Beastmaster, but it looks like we're going to be seeing, for the most part, a roaming Elder Titan Shadow Shaman combination. It's a support Titan, and I think the .82 changes are really what's letting them get away with this, because the natural order scale is a lot better now. They're going to wrap around, but they'll run into Zephy, and A is getting blocked by his Elder Titan, but he still has the haste rune, though, so he can land the Shackle. I don't know how much damage they're actually going to put into this Mirana, though. She did pick up level 1 arrow, however, so this is going to cost her life. She's going to turn around and throw it onto Sqreen, but in the end, the Shadow Shaman's going to take the kill. Oh, man, she definitely didn't expect to run into those heroes, otherwise Leap definitely would have been level 1.
I would completely agree to that, and as you did mention, the scaling of the natural order aura now is just so insane. It's going to mean, as you say, supports Elder Titan is going to be seen more often. As a support, he works in quite a few ways. You can get those early arcanes, and then you can just roam as a duo support team. I mean, you've got Ancestral Spirit to do a good amount of damage, and most importantly, get the attack speed and right-click up. And on top of all of that, you, of course, have the Aura. And the Aura is everything to an Elder Titan. It's what makes the hero.
It's a pure damage support if you're going to be playing him as such. But when you have the likes of the Shadow Shaman to help out, then pure damage is really all you need, because you'll get all the disables in the world from a Shackle and then eventually a Hex. So it's a nice little combination that Sqreen Squad have right now. I don't know how effective it's going to be in the long run. Like, running into a random support in the river isn't really indicative of the strength of a supporting duo, but it really depends on how well they could gank someone like a Phantom Assassin, who, with that level 1 blur, is going to be increasingly harder to kill from these pure damage supports, because, again, there's not that much magic coming out from the Sqreen Squad in general right now. I mean, eventually the Invoker will get there, but as it stands, they're going to be very reliant on their right-clicks, with the Terrorblade especially, in order to kill off people. And in that case, Phantom Assassin blur is going to be a pain.
MKB is going to be absolutely critical to one of these cores, but to which one? I mean, you could go for it on the Void, no surprises if we see that, or the Terrorblade could pick it up. But Terrorblade has bigger problems to deal with in the early game. He wants to get some health, he wants to also get a Yasha into a Manta. He needs a BKB in this one as well, considering the sheer threat of, say, a Mystic Flare or the stun combinations, of, as you have mentioned outright, the stuns in this game are absolutely ridiculous in favor of BeWater.
For now, it looks like we're going to be seeing a relatively passive start outside of that kind of accidental first blood in the river. It's going to be both teams just happily farming away. We do see Invoker holding a crushing lead over the Phantom Assassin. The harassment potential and the range advantage that the Invoker have, you would kind of expect it to go his way, but probably not by this much. With Stifling Dagger, you can last hit very comfortably, but he's having some trouble, this Phantom Assassin. On the other lanes, well, Scarith Mage is zoning very heavily for the Wraith King, who's having the time of his life, but at the same time, the Terrorblade is having just as good a time. It's only a matter of time before they try to go for a kill on blue, and I think this is going to be it. There's the illusion being created, plus the damage from the Stomp and the Shackles, everything under the sun, and Beastmaster is going to go down. I have to really memorize these Terrorblade names, because I do not know.
Metamorphosis.
Reflection. Metamorphosis, yes. Reflection is the only one I don't know. I know Life Drain, but yeah, it's not enough. Whatever,
Life Drain?
goes down.
Life Drain? Sunder.
No, Life Drain was his old skill. That's like when I was still playing Dota 1.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll grant you that one. But nonetheless, Terrorblade is going to be a fun little addition to the Captain's Mode scene. I mean, as a split farmer, a split pusher, he does work quite well, but he can brawl, he can fight very easily if he has the Metamorphosis available. Of course, the downside, low base HP and the cooldown on Metamorphosis.
Yeah, the cooldown on Metamorphosis is pretty much like ultimate times cooldown. I think it's very similar in how often he could use it to a Dragon Knight, so though it is an amazingly powerful skill so early on, you can use it very infrequently, so if he wastes it, and if BeWater manages to slip away after the Metamorphosis is popped, suddenly Terrorblade is going to be a lot more upset for a couple of seconds. Zephy is looking for mid lane, as Cass is currently...
Blue in a lot of trouble, getting caught by a Shackle, and now he's going to get potentially brought down by the Stomp of the Elder Titan. They managed just to walk in and get that one.
Well, nice easy kills on the Beastmaster, I suppose. I mean, this Beastmaster offlane used to be a thing. Like, it used to be very, very standard for teams to just go for this, especially if you're on the dire side, but it has fallen off, and you can see why. I mean, he's pretty tanky as far as heroes go, but he doesn't have any way of guaranteeing his safety.
No, he doesn't. I mean, it's one of the big threats to him. The only way he can really guarantee his safety is if he can get some vision up with his Hawk, but even with the Hawk, you still run the risk of a smoke gank, like we just saw there. It's very rough. I mean, if the Beastmaster gets picked off a few times as well, he's going to lose a lot of the advantage he could potentially get. I mean, he wants a quick level 6, then he can start roaming with the Roar, similar to how you would play a bounty in the offlane. You would just sneak down, you would get your level 6 as soon as possible and start rotating around the map. It's the same principle. But these kills are going the way of that Terrorblade, and if there's one thing that is scary in all of Dota 2, it is a farmed Terrorblade. Good luck killing him, let alone twice if he successfully sunders someone.
And then worst case, he picks up an Aegis, and then suddenly things get really, really, really hard. The Ancients are just now starting to be stacked from blue, so he will not have that huge contingency plan as you normally see. from offlane Beastmasters. Don't really know how the changes in the map are going to be affecting that, but he is still going pretty steadily towards the level 6 mark, and once he has that, he's going to look to rotate. But Sqreen and A are already rotating in, and they have their eyes set on the Phantom Assassin. If she gets shackled, I'm pretty sure she's just going to die. There's the shackle, and there's the Sunstrike. Rest in peace, Phantom Assassin. Shock to kill her off.
There's no way to escape that. When the control comes out of Sqreen Squad, I mean, the Echo Stomp into the shackles or vice versa, it is incredibly powerful. And you were asking about ancient stacking. For the Dire side, it is still completely the same. The Beastmaster will just move to this area next to the tier 1 and then just throw his axes down. He'll learn stack just as normal.
Yeah, hasn't done that much of it though, so I guess he's just happy with getting the experience in lane. But still, he has died 2 times, and he'll be able to recover somewhat, as Beastmasters usually do. Mid lane is going to be pushed, and Arrow does land onto Cass, but the Stomp is going to zone out pretty much everyone. Cass can take a little bit of damage from Zephy, but suddenly Zephy has to leap out of here. Alo's going to jump forward for Cass. That'll be the death of the Invoker. Now looking for Sqreen. He has boots, and he is on his way out. In the meantime, Shadow Shaman running off to the south as well. Arrow is going to be juked, and looks like the Shadow Shaman might go down the side, as Sqreen is going to look to teleport out. The Roar, though, just got leveled up, and Shadow Shaman, he's going to teleport out, in fact. It's going to be the Elder Titan to go down. Thought the Shadow Shaman for sure would have been the one to fall, but Elder Titan dropping instead.
They didn't have the extra stun to break the TP, which is unfortunate, and just being able to get out on the high ground like that, good play coming out of the Shadow Shaman in that case. Who is that? I mean, we were casting Sqreen Squad the other day. It's just A right now.
I have no clue. I mean, it's... yeah. Oh, I just realized that my in-game isn't on, but that's fine. Yeah. I don't know, and if he doesn't want anyone to know, then, well, he's just going to be A to us.
His profile's private. I can't check it myself.
Why do people do this to us?
I don't know. I do not know. It's partly an issue with the lobbies still. Sometimes like, you get the bug where they're shown as stand-ins, or it doesn't show the right name when they're in the game. But now we get a brawl on this bottom lane. Sqreen will manage to get off the Echo Stomp. Alu will eat the Sunstrike and get brought down, but gets off one more Stifling Dagger. Doesn't bring down the Elder Titan in time. And now you've got Blue just chipping away at all the time. When Hex comes out, it's going to give him enough time to get away from this one. Blue doesn't want to throw the Roar. He doesn't even have it for another 7 seconds, so not going to be able to pick this one up. But now in comes Arrows on the Terrorblade. God damn, guys. God damn. Just poking and prodding around, also farming up the jungle. And item-wise, he's already got his treads. We're looking for maybe a drum on him. That will give him a good amount of HP to start this game with.
Yeah, Terrorblade is pretty much having the time of his life right now, and I would say I would be a little bit more scared of a farming Terrorblade than I would be of a farming Wraith King. Yeah, it's difficult to kill Wraith King, but he just doesn't have that kind of explosive damage that Terrorblade can put out. And Wraith King's actually holding on to 2,300 gold. Normally, I would say he's probably going to go for a Blink Dagger, but...
Terrorblade. Zephy just can't do anything off the back of it, though. Sorry for that. I see an arrow land on Terrorblades. This is how you need to deal with Terrorblade, but you were saying top lane.
Well, I was going to say that he was going to pick up a Blink Dagger, but I'm surprised he wasn't, but he does. So, Blink Dagger and Wraith King, and I think the BeWater side are going to look to be very aggressive with this hero. As you said, going for Terrorblade is what you need to be doing, and so far they haven't done that just yet. The Roar has been used once, and after Blue clears these Ancient stacks, I think the rest of the team are going to look to make some rotations around. They could get the kills. I don't know how easy it's going to be for them to take towers following that, however.
I'm not too sure about that one. Their tower push doesn't really scream out to me as, yeah, we can take towers really easily, but... As it stands, I reckon they can at least get a few in the early game, at least before, say, the Terrorblade comes online. Whereas on the flip side of the coin, Sqreen Squad, they can push towers much easier. Mass Servant Wards, Terrorblade, Conjure Image, Illusions, just all the force in the world. And this is one thing that I would think should be a thing. BeWater. The way they're playing this game, they need a big flashing red siren on all of their screens saying there is a Terrorblade free farming. It's a bad thing.
No, it's a terrible thing, and they haven't done anything yet. We keep on saying they haven't done anything, but at this point they should have done something. Beastmaster is still clearing out these Ancients, which is great and everything, but at a certain point the Shadow Shaman is just going to hit that level 6 mark, and then suddenly your towers are going to start dropping. Even though the towers are a little bit more durable and not worth as much, it's still pretty easy for a Shadow Shaman to pick them up. And even like at a certain point, Terrorblade can just start purely split pushing the towers, especially if Sqreen Squad managed to run so much interference with the other 4 heroes. And the other 4 heroes that they do have are perfectly capable of taking a 4v5 fight. It's perfectly feasible. Now they're going to go for it.
Yeah.
Terrorblade on the bottom lane is going to shred this tower so easily.
With Metamorphosis up, towers will just fall. It gives so much extra damage. I mean, look at it. Gives an extra 80 as well as base attack time reduction. But in comes the Mass Serpent Wards. In comes the Chrono as well. Catches Rain as well as Blue and Divine Weakness. In Sunstrike drops as well. Blue's still standing, but in comes a Mystic Flare. That will crater the Faceless Void. And in the back lines of the fight, Reincarnation by Rain. Raw comes in. Cast dies on the Invoker. Now AAA still going to be trading blows. The tower does go down in favor of that Shadow Shaman. And the Aftershock comes through as well, cleaning up the Skywrath Mage. But Alu now hunting. He wants to get AAA. Successfully does so with the help of Rain, but the Terrorblade is still here, just trading damage straight into Rain, and he cannot escape. AAA on the double off the back of Terrorblade's damage, and now they're going to look for Alu. Can Alu get out of here? I don't think he can. He's duking through the trees, but all it will take is one more hoof stomp. The blink away, though, should be enough, considering you still have Zephy on the back lines as a target to blink to.
You know, that actually went a lot better for BeWater than I thought it was going to go for them. The Serpent Ward's being deployed, and with Terrorblade on the front lines with Metamorphosis and his images, I thought BeWater were just going to get cleaned up, but the Chronosphere, though it did land on 3 heroes, one of the targets focused there was the Wraith King, so he just popped right back up and then was pretty much good to go. The other target was the Beastmaster, who got hit by half of a Sunstrike. His Boar split the damage with him, so he ended up surviving for a lot longer than he really should have, and in fact he survived the entire thing. So a couple of small things that helped BeWater actually take that fight. Perhaps the re-engagement from the PA was a little bit too over-aggressive, but hey, she escaped that one as well. So, you know, all in all, though BeWater do lose that tower, it wasn't the worst for them. That being said, they can't really sit back and hope for the team fights to go like that every single time, because they most certainly will not.
I'm in complete agreement to that. And I'm just taking a quick look at Terrorblade once again. It was actually a Rusty Asher instead of a drum, and he was going for a Sancho. It's an S and Y Terrorblade, which is a new one even by me. I would generally expect maybe Aquila or Drum, maybe even both, into a BKB. Tank up, fix the health problem. Maybe pick up an earlier Yasha if you can, but not straight after boots.
It's not the most uncommon of Terrorblade builds. It's exactly what he needs. It gives him the agility, which is great for illusion heroes, and then it gives you the nice strength from the Sanj. But I don't know if it's the best enemy you're possibly going for. Slander's going to jump right in, and they get annihilated before a Chronosphere. Sqreen's going to drop his Stomp, which is going to buy them a little bit of time for the Terrorblade to walk right in and try to go for Rain. He has no reincarnation, and he will go down. Now the Terrorblade, taking literally no damage from anyone, is going to be, well, shuffling around awkwardly. Looking for another target, won't be able to find it. That was, I think, the Chronosphere nerf getting to the Faceless Void. Ordinarily, I would have said the Chronosphere would have caught in 4 there, but he couldn't get it out in time.
But now we're going to see a potential re-engage here. Blue will start throwing the axes off the back of the arrow, landing on arrows. Please, guys, fix your names. But I don't think we're going to see any more aggression here in this mid lane quite yet. And I think you were quite right with that Chronosphere change. Normally, we would have expected jump Chrono immediately, but that nerf does hurt. Sunstrike's going to drop, does impact Zephy. He did get himself a bounty for him, though. It's going to give him a nice little bit of a golden experience.
Well, Chronosphere not landing, I guess that means that Chronosphere is going to be up for later, but suddenly, this is the reason I think why solo lane, off lane Void isn't really going to be as popular, and really I doubted why it was popular in the first place. But he's going to take so long to get the Chronosphere up. He's going to go for blue, and with the Forge Spirits wrapping around from behind, that's going to be a lot of extra damage to the Faceless Void. I don't know how those Forge Spirits got there, but that's another kill on the Beastmaster, and Sqreen Squad looking pretty good.
Completely, I will agree with that one. And Sqreen Squad, if they can keep up this kind of momentum, they should do well. But of course, this is 6.82. There's many changes to scaling of gold, but as we stand, Alu will be focused down by that meteor. Can he get anything off the back of this one? I don't think so. Slander does eat a lot of damage, doesn't have another Chrono to go, but in comes the Moonlight Shadow. They should all be able to disengage. Daggers will continue to fly. Slander will get hit by one more Wraith Fire, will be brought down. Arrow's going to miss, unfortunately. That's going to be, at the end of the day, a 2-for-1 trade. Or is it? Alu comes aggressive, looks for the kill on Cast, but Deafening Blast is going to slow that one down. They still have Terrorblade lurking nearby as well. Does get the reflection off onto Alu. Can they do enough damage to a PA? I'm not seeing any actual dodges at all. He just got destroyed.
That is 50% blur in quotation marks, because I'm pretty sure that wasn't 50%. Terrorblade hit every single time. And then the extra damage from the Shadow Shaman, absolutely crucial there to secure that kill. But once again, it's the Phantom Assassin being a little bit over-aggressive. Trying to go for the Invoker would have normally been good, but this Invoker is going for a very tanky build. He's going, in fact, for a mech. So his armor is really, really high due to this buckler, and now they're going to go for this tower. With Terrorblade holding on to his Metamorphosis, or rather it wasn't up for him to use, they're going to shred this tower once again, and BeWater, they are really not playing their team comp properly. They should have been looking for picks for the first 10 minutes in the game, but they haven't really done that at all, and suddenly they're going to be lacking the map control to comfortably go out on the map and look for these crucial pickoffs.
I'll agree to that. Just abusing the Metamorphosis right now is the right thing that Sqreen Squad are going to do. They're even going to find the Ancient Stack, and this is going to hurt Blue so heavily. But they are going to try to contest this one. In they come, but in comes the Elder Titan. The Ancient Spirit is down. In comes the Blink Hex. So the Mystic Flare's going to drop, but Sqreen just doesn't take too much damage. And now comes the Meteor. That's going to kill everyone, as well as the Earth Splitter on top. That annihilates so many heroes. The damage is good across the board. Now Alu going to be the focus here. The reflection is there. Is he going to dodge much this time? I don't think so. Cass picks up the double. But now the chase comes. They're going to go for Zephy. Blink forward. They go for the Hex. Do get Zephy, but he's going to be able to leap away from this one. A couple of right clicks will bring down Blue, though, and now Rain going to be the focus. Arrows just chewing into him. Speaking of arrows, one will land on the Terrorblade, but that's a triple kill for Cass. Make that an ultra kill. Can we get the Rampage? One right click, and it hits. That's a Rampage for Cass.
Guys, when you're fighting in this close quarters, do not fight up against an Invoker. That will be very, very painful. Oh man, Deafening Blast, I don't even know if it was casted there, but there was definitely Meteors, Sunstrike, and the Forge Spirits going to town. And BeWater, they just couldn't stand up long enough. That was even after the fact that Faceless Void once again jumped in and instantly got locked down before he got his chrono, which would have definitely sealed the fight for Sqreen Squad within like 10 seconds, 20 seconds, but he didn't get that one off yet. Sqreen Squad, with the amount of damage that Terrorblade is able to put out, they cleaned house, and a Rampage for this Invoker is going to mean that with this Hand of Midas, he is going to be pretty much right where he should be if he didn't go for the Mechanism. He's holding on to a lot of dough, and, well, Mechanism Invoker, it's a little bit of a change because Mechanism is now costing a lot more mana. Ordinarily, you would see this on the likes of the Elder Titan. I don't know if he could afford it right now, but Invoker is going to be able to hold it, and clearly he's doing a pretty good job of it. This is going to be a Necro book being built from him straight after. You know, pretty standard stuff, but it's really going to help them crack the rest of the Tier 2s.
I'll agree to that one. And it wasn't just the fact that it was Invoker in a tight space. It was Invoker amplified by natural order. It was absolutely nuts. And it's good to see a fight like that. It shows how much the game has shifted. It's no longer, oh, we're just going to push your tower. Fights in the jungle. Let's just fight for the sake of fighting. Brawls everywhere. And they were fighting over an Ancient Stack at the end of the day. So they still get an objective out of it.
Well, the gold lead is going to be vastly in favor of Sqreen Squad, but we saw all the complaints. We know what this patch could bring about. If BeWater take one decent fight, all of a sudden the net worth is going to plummet back in their direction, and Phantom Assassin could most certainly benefit from that because she really doesn't have anything going for her right now. She's pretty tanky. She has the blur and she has a lot of strength, but that's not really going to be enough. She needs some sort of threat so that the Sqreen Squad could actually be incentivized to focus her. They're going to take down this Tier 2 bottom lane tower in exchange for a top lane Tier 1. So far, pretty good trade, especially if Sqreen Squad could go for more. They have Chronosphere. They do have a little bit more in that Metamorphosis duration. Serpent are also going to be deployed on the tower, and now BeWater, they're forced to fight. They have to watch out for a Chronosphere, but Slander has been having some difficulty landing them, so maybe they don't have to respect it as much as they once did. But still, look at these summons and all these things just killing off the tower. There's the jump in for the Chronosphere. That was okay.
That was a complete Lotus Sphere.
Zero
it was a Lotus Sphere, complete
now
miss.
Alu going to jump right in for Slander. The Mystic Flare is going to kill off the Face Void, punishing him for his bad play. Now Rain in the front lines looking for someone, but there's only summons here that are taking down the melee racks. They have to clear out all these units. It's going to be really close, but it looks like they will just barely hold as the Forge Spirits and the Necro units actually got distracted on Rain. And that means the melee Raxes are going to survive, at least for now, but might not be the case for much longer. They're going to valiantly defend, and yeah, the Invoker just messed up his micro. That could have been easily melee Raxes, but instead they're going to survive.
Well, they are still all lurking nearby, still ready to fight. But one thing I will mention, there was actually a patch this morning. They've actually reduced the scaling on both killing sprees as well as the equation that decides how much gold you get for AoE being in the vicinity. So that's nowhere near as high as it was. It got nerfed by about 2.2, a factor of 2.2. So it's more reasonable now. But now we get a smoke going through. They're going to Raw around the Sqreen. Alu's there with the damage. Does get a few crits, but in comes Slander. Doesn't have a chrono, though. But still, Arrows is just doing so much damage. Now working on Alu once again. And if he can bring him down, that's going to certainly help out. The Terrorblade is lurking nearby. Gets a good Sunder off onto Zephy. That's going to reduce him to near nothing. And one more right click will spell his doom. No, he manages to get his stick off, but he's still going to die in the tree line. And Alu will, in the meantime, potentially go down to the Shadow Shaman. All it'll take is one more Ether Shock. Does he have enough mana? Yes, he does. But doesn't have the vision right now, so then instead of going to turn on blue, he's going to take a good amount of right clicks, almost lose the courier in exchange, but it doesn't matter. And now Terrorblade looking for Alu, but Alu is just running for his life. Sunstrike will drop, and that will crater that Phantom Assassin at the end of the day.
Easy, nice scattered fight for Sqreen Squad. Even though this Faceless Void still doing pretty much nothing. I mean, his Chronospheres have not been on point. He got obliterated last fight by the Skywrath Mage Mystic Flare. It doesn't matter. This Terrorblade, now wielding a freaking Sacred Relic, he's absolutely dishing, combined with the fact that the Invoker is pretty much in the same spot. All of that amplified by Natural Order. And BeWater, they are just crumbling under the might of Sqreen Squad. It's going to take a lot for them to come back into this game, and now the Terrorblade is at that scary point where he is able to solo push and be more or less safe. That means the rest of his team are able to do this. Group up on the bottom lane. Though they don't have the mana for Serpent Wards, they will wait for it. And Zephy actually is going to get caught out. He walked right into a sentry. And Alu's going to jump in for the Shadow Shaman, who's completely out of mana, but now Chronosphere onto 2. Unfortunately, Arrows walked into it, but the Air Splitter is going to fly through, and Rain's going to lose his Reincarnation off of that. Blue in the back end is doing pretty much nothing but trying to run Disruption. Now he's going to think about going for Arrows, who's completely out of mana. Both Rain is going to get cold snapped in his teleportation attempt out, and now Blue on the way out as well. The Radiance Burn is going to kill him off. That's another 5-man wipe, and I think that just might be game. It is.
Even with the recovery mechanics, there's no way to recover from that. They're losing racks. That fight was just so one-sided. This is just the sheer power of a Terrorblade. If you leave Terrorblade to farm, if you leave him to do his thing, you will most likely lose the game. This is why you need those big red flashy warning lights. There's a Terrorblade free farming.
That should be in the next patch.
Definitely, if not an Arcana.
Alright guys, so this is going to be it. Sqreen Squad take it, and they move on to face no one just yet. It's going to be the winner of MYM and 2015, which is going to be played in about 30 minutes. So I think we're just probably going to wait and chill for that. If you enjoyed the cast, then be sure to hit that follow button, and well, stay tuned for more after a little bit of a break. I'm Mike Loris. I've been joined by Mr. Blackadder. You can follow us on Twitter at Mike Loris and at Mr._Blackadder. That should be about it. Do you have anything else to say?
Bring on game 2, or the next game that we've got tonight.
Yep, the VODs will be up on youtube.com/HeflaMoke, guys, twitter.com, facebook.com/HeflaTV, and, well, just stay tuned, and I'll try to play some music that won't make too many people angry, but I don't know if I'll be successful in doing that.
I'll link you some.